8 is a good evening. And we're going to start live in another, guess, 4 minutes, because 5 minutes late is Indian tradition. So let's just wait for people to join in. Let's give 2 more minutes to people. Meanwhile, please mention in the comments where you're joining us from. Interesting. Thank you, Vanan. So it's 4:03. I think before you join, I said let's give 5 minutes to everybody. So 4:05 sharp we start, and people who join later will miss out on few things. Hello, Mansi. Hi, Getty. Good to have you here. So, like I said, 2 more minutes to people. It's, I guess, Indian Standard Time. 5 minutes late at least. So, when you read this, so for people in the group, for viewers, when you read the title "Personal Branding for Artists: The Journey After You Find Your Niche," what exactly did come to your mind? You know, what were your first thought? What are we going to do here? Noida, Greater Noida. Interesting. I think there has to be a trip due to Delhi NCR soon. A lot of people are from Delhi NCR. 1 more minute to go. So, what personal branding means to you? What does personal branding mean to you? All right, it is 4:05. So, we're going to start. We'll see when people join, as and when they join. So, see, when I talk about personal branding, the first thing that we need to define is what a brand is, right? So, a recognizable and loved brand is one of the most valuable assets that you will have. A company, it can be a company or it can be an individual. So, there was a survey done, which is Nielsen survey, which said that 59% of the consumers prefer to buy new products from the brands that are familiar to them. And the same thing goes for you as a freelance artist, right? People buy from you when your name rings a bell, when what you have done rings a bell, when there is some common connection, right? And since we're talking to freelancers here, so as a small business, you may be competing against big brands, personal brands, right? Who have devoted customers and who probably have unlimited marketing budgets, right? So that's why you have to find ways to stand out and that can happen with the solid brand building process of your own. So for people don't who don't know me, my name is Pia Singh. I'm a business growth strategist by profession and a business solution enthusiast by passion. So my favorite piece of advice to any entrepreneur is to think about building a brand, not just a business, right? And that is what gives you massive growth and raving fans. Now, the major question is, where do you start? You start with your stories. So, what's your story? So, the first step in the branding journey is to discover who you are, to identify what makes you unique, and to describe your true values, beliefs, passions, purposes, and superpowers, right? Now, what stories do you want others to know about you? How do you want them to be told? These stories are what are going to build your brand, right? So it is very important to take the time to understand your beliefs and then translate them into your brand. Interestingly, everyone has a brand. So what varies is whether you are actively managing it or not. So many people have not taken the time to explore these questions. It can be a struggle. It requires some deep thought and inner searching. So I will also share few tools as we go along. So let the branding journey begin, right? But before that, there are some definitions that need to be clear. And interestingly enough, what we are also going to do is I'm going to take a lot of questions towards the end, right? So, any question that you have, please park it. Coming back to definitions. Now, what is a belief? Belief is a concept that we hold to be true. They are basic assumptions we make about the world, grown from what we see, hear, experience, and think. Then we start forming opinions that we believe are true, right? Those are our beliefs. Then comes values. So, values are ideas that you hold to be important. Remember, beliefs are the concepts that we hold to be true, and values are the ideas that we hold to be important. So they govern the way you behave, communicate, and interact with others. And our values are formed from our beliefs. So when you're talking to a potential customer, this is something that you have to know. This is your emotional hook when you do content marketing, the values, right? What they hold to be important. Then there is something we call as passion, right? So passion is nothing but your core interest, things that you find a way to make time for in your life, and something that causes a void when you don't have it, right? And then there is superpower. Superpower is a unique talent that you have. It is what you do well, better than the most, what is admired by others, and why you excel. Right? Superpowers tend to create value for others when they experience it from you. Right? Then there is purpose. So purpose is basically the reason behind why you do what you do. It's your motivation, objective, intention. It is seen in your resolve and determination, right? And brand is what people believe to be true about you, even when you are not present. I'm sure you have heard that definition, right? So, back to story. So, to create your story, you need to know your purpose, yourself, and your goals, right? Step one in your personal branding journey focuses on discovering who you are at the most core, authentic level, and knowing your driving purpose in life. So, purpose oriented people tend to be happier and more successful because they are motivated by the meaning they find in and bring to their work, right? And the right kind of work will seem almost effortless to them. Therefore, the first exercise I want you to do is to answer the question, what's my story? Right? When I do this one to one, I usually help people define and describe the most authentic version of themselves through the experiences that they have. So, to give you a taste, here's what I want you to do. First thing we'll do is we'll identify your interests. Okay. Sometimes, who you are is easy to identify and articulate. It can be right on the surface, but at other times you'll need to cull through your thoughts to find the hidden gems. And identifying your interest is more of an obvious first step. So let me ask you this: do you have a known passion or interest or area of expertise that you would like to spend more time on, right? Are these interests for earlier in life that you remember bringing great joy? Do you have any lifelong passions? Do you have any unique skills developed from those interests? Now, list them down, right? I know it's not possible to do justice to this list right now, but I just wanted to give you a teaser, an understanding of how things happen, right? So this is your first step. Now another thing you should do, the second thing is you need to build your knowledge and interest inventory, right? So identify three things that you admire about yourself, things in your life that you enjoy. Describe your values, your attitudes and beliefs, and areas where you give the most effort. Think about what energizes you, what are you most passionate about. Now list as many as you can in a short period of time, right? I would actually like you to write a few things here, right? Thank you, Surbi. So, people who are viewing this video right now, just quickly mention three things that you admire about yourself, things that you enjoy in your life. I am gonna go. I like travel. So I'll go first. That's me. What are the three things that, top of your mind are something that you love to do? All right. So as you go along, I'll just give you a short tip on this. After the quick first pass, once you do it, review your list and then start digging deeper. Okay, ask yourself why those items are important to you. Now this tip can be used throughout the process over and over again. You have to question yourself to see if what you started with still applies to you. No, try to understand the why behind your actions, and this will naturally lead you to a deeper understanding of yourself and guide you when choosing your area of emphasis. So that's a little bit that will help you to identify your niche. Now let's come to your purpose. So your purpose, uh, how do you know your purpose? So to know your purpose, it is important for you to build your emotional inventory, right? So listen to the voice in your head and ask yourself, what does it feel like to interact with you? Ask, how do you want people to feel when they're talking to you? How do you want people to talk about you? And make this list quickly. So, first thoughts are often the most accurate ones, right? There are few other workouts that I help people to define their purpose. So, you can ping me separately for that, right? So, next, let's talk about the commandment, know yourself, know thyself. So, the important next step is to evaluate how your purpose compares with your current personal and professional situation, right? Are you on the right path, or do you need to build a bridge plan and to move closer to your purpose, right? So try to take a look from an outside perspective. How do you see yourself in comparison to how others see you? Do you have any blind spots that need correcting? Now, when you're completing this section, do it rather quickly. Your first thoughts are often the more accurate, right? Don't overthink this. So, conduct a personal inventory of skills, accomplishments, strengths and weaknesses, and maybe list examples of 5 strengths and 5 weaknesses. Then, interestingly, ideally, some of your strengths may come from your previous inventory exercises that I have shared. Now, the second thing you can do is to understand how do others perceive you, right? A good approach would be to write down your perspective, but check it by asking a few other people for their feedback. Now, be open, don't be defensive, and thank them for their constructive feedback, right? When you compare your notes with your feedback notes, it could be they could either be reinforced or it will show you your blind spots. Okay, so be ready for what you will learn. Study yourself and you will continually learn how to improve. And a tip on this, how well are you projecting your purpose? I want you to I want to draw your attention to the impression you make. Your confidence, your composure, your presence, right? Are you using body language to your advantage? So there was this TED talk by Amy Cuddy, Amycuddy, which was basis for her book Presence. Okay, and this book is an introduction to raise your awareness to your external image. So make a habit to monitor to your body language, and then you can also deploy some of the AMI's recommendations for confidence building, such as how do you use power poses, right? Another tip, a general suggestion for improving the impression you make is to spend time on all forms of communication skills, writing, listening, and speaking, right? So just be mindful of proper grammar and work on improving your presentation skills and practice active listening. This is important, right? And the impression you will make will immediately improve with timeliness, consistency, quality, and clarity, right? So this is a bit about you, personal, right? Now the second part for you is to know your goals. So before finishing the identity section of personal brand development, you should crystallize your goals and define your actions for accomplishing them. Now, writing goals greatly enhances your chances of accomplishing your purpose. And the act of thinking specifically about when, where, and how you are going to do something, it greatly increases your effectiveness. Now, just remember to use the tried and true SMART method. Your goals need to be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. That's what people have been telling you. Now, make it smarter, right? So, along with your goals being specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound, they also need you to, need you to do the evaluation and review. Right. So here is what I want you to do. Take a page, divide it into 3 parts. The first part needs to be your goals. Now, these goals will be broken down into milestones in the second part. So these milestones will then have a time frame in the third part, and then your list, gets it go. Get your list done. So once you know what you want, it is time to develop your story, which is the most important part that we'll be discussing today. Travel music friends, interesting survey. Thank you, Manan, for your response. Okay, now your story needs to be differentiated in ways that are true to you while meaningful to those who you wish to attract, right? It requires identifying evidence that supports your purpose and story. So, if you don't understand your purpose and story, once the live is done, go back to the start of the live and you will find that in the video. Okay. Now, what proof do you have that you know uh, gives evidence to support your purpose and story? Do you need more? Now, developing proofs and then learning to present them well are the keys to gain recognition for your strengths. Your proofs should bring your skills and address to life. Your proofs should also demonstrate your credibility and attract attention from your target audience. So, this is one of the major questions that we have when we go out and we tell somebody that, Why don't you write a recommendation for me or a testimonial perhaps? And 80% of the cases, the person will come back to you and ask you, what do you want me to write? मेरे को write up दे दो मैं लिख के दे दूंगा. So that's how industry has been functioning right now, which kind of is I don't know. But yeah, so the elements of this section include documenting your skills inventory, updating your professional bio, and master storytelling. And this is what we will be covering in the next half of the video. Right? Any questions so far? If you have questions, be sure to put them in the comment section and I'll start taking the questions as we go along, right? So the first part was to develop your skills inventory, right? Step one is to build a body of evidence to support your purpose. Draw attention to the value people will receive when they choose to work with you. So ultimately, we're looking for both quality and quantity of proofs, right? So I'll share some exercises that I use to identify and document the proofs. Probably you can do them as well. So the first thing that you can do is identifying your target audience, right? Get connected and involved with relevant organizations. Identify subject matter experts and thought leaders whose thought process you resonate with, right? And then try and understand what skills, attributes, and passions do you share with these people, right? This will help you understand what proofs will differentiate you and what will be relevant to your target audience, right? The second thing that you have to do is you have to inventory your past accomplishments. So if you haven't kept good information about your past, or if you don't remember the outcomes, right? Track down the end results, the problems that you have solved, and the successful outcomes, right? And then document your stories and try and start with the focus on the most recent examples. The third thing that you will have to do is you can quantify your results, right? So, what is the return on investment people can expect when they work with you? What value do you bring? Now, align your words and your actions to show consistency, right? And a special tip on this, evidence is compelling when it's understandable, right? No jargons. Two, when it makes a point. So your evidence should be new, it should be credible, and it should be pertinent to your audience. And when it makes a point, right? So when documenting your proofs, be sure to answer a question which is called so what? I am so and so, I do so and so. So, if I am listening to you or reading your profile or bio, I'll be like, so what? So it needs to be understandable, it needs to make a point, it needs to be new, credible, and relevant to your audience, right? A tip on this, once you have caught up and built your portfolio, don't fall behind in this area in the future. So keep a journal of ideas and accomplishments to be able to easily access and share with others when it is time to refresh your story, right? When you have to add something else and then nurture your brand story, something that we'll cover in the next session or whenever we are doing the next slide. Now, storytelling is an essential driver of change, right? So, storytelling helps us to stand out, spread messages, and make changes. And good storytelling makes us think and feel. It can inspire and motivate, right? Now, these stories can be written, they can be verbal, or they can be visual, right? Use a combination of elements to ensure that it is compelling and it helps convey your purpose. Now, your stories should be consistent with your image, right? Stories make ideas stick, and start with simple stories, right? So social media is an easy place to ensure that you're telling your story the way you want to tell it, right? It can help you create a personal connection to your audience. Now, social media is also the most efficient and visible way to share your interests, activities, and professional accomplishments, right? Just be sure that your posts are consistent with your brand, because social media exposure is both instant and lasting. So, like any other good thing, use social media in moderation. Avoid oversaturating your audience, right? Another important social media reminder, it's not all about you. Okay, this is one thing that I see people doing, and it is a big problem, right? So just as networking is a two-way street, so is social media. So it is important that you provide your digital connections who will become your network with valuable information, not just content that serves your own interests, right? And there are two ways in which it can be done. One is called a 33% rule. So there are three things that you do, and you can divide it into three parts. You can do one third this, one third this, one third this. The other thing is 5-3-2 rule, which basically represents the ratio of type of content that I recommend posting across your social networks. So share 5 pieces of professional content which is written by thought leaders or your connections for every 3 posts that represent you and your business interests, which are either written by you or your colleagues or partners, right? And 2 posts about your personal activities and interests, right? So this is your 5-3-2 rule. You can also do it 1 by 3. So for every piece of professional content, or for every piece or post that represents you and your business interest where you are selling, you need to post one professional content which is written by thought leaders or connections, and one post of your personal activities and interests. So that is the right balance, right? And next, for the in-person opportunities to tell your story, my tip for you is to take your proofs, you know, take your success stories, the things that you have done, and literally draft a few stories that you then rehearse and have ready to share. So when the opportunity to tell your story presents itself, I want you to seize it, right? So sometimes the opportunities will be planned and sometimes it will be spontaneous. Be ready for both, right? And good presentations come from planning and practice. That's at least what I have seen in my what now 17 years of experience, right? So we're all familiar with delivering a business case presentation when it we know that they can be a bit dry. Now, art of storytelling blends subjective elements as a complement. Right? So, when scripting out your stories, be sure to show your style in terms of energy, tone, timing, humor, and personal information and examples. Right? Your ability to capture attention and influence the audience to take action is directly related to what people know or believe about who you are, right? Pro tip, be ready with a killer 30-second elevator pitch. So, what do, right? The foundation of your elevator pitch is your skills, what you do well. So, from there, you should include your greatest strengths or best compliments, right? Next, let people know how they can help you by sharing what you would like to do. And then put it all together by adding a bit of your why and your motivation. So, whether you're creating, finding, or sharing information, you need to convince people to take your advice, right? And I want you to be memorable and appealing, comfortably, confidently, and consistently. Telling your story is the goal, right? Part two is about your professional bio. So, in today's connection economy, it is crucial to manage your digital brand, create, polish, and regularly update your bio. Okay, document your experiences, showcase your interests, highlight the causes that you care about. Your bio should include a bit of your personality. It shouldn't just be a list of titles and degrees. Right? Ensure that your profile title and summary statement is unique. No, the description that we say. That should be unique, it should be relevant, and it should be findable. And by findable, I mean using the words, keywords that a person would search on Google or Bing for that matter, right? So it's important to describe your talents in a compelling way. There are many places where your professional bio may exist, but we're going to focus on an essential professional tool. You can use LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook, right? And I'll just give you a quick walkthrough for your profile. Always have a current professional photograph and use the same photograph on all your profiles, especially if you have a common name. And by current professional photograph, I don't mean a selfie in which you're pouting, no, taken from an elevated 45-degree angle. No, get a professional shoot that, please, your artists, right? Use the same name and consistent bio across digital platforms, right? And have a version of your bio in different lengths. It should be 2 lines, it should be 2 paragraphs. You should have all the versions in between, right? And always use a tailored, opportunity specific bio whenever you're sending it, right? So you could be holding a team building event as an MC with corporate, and you could be holding a wedding event, you could be holding um, uh, a regular MC function, a music function. Now, the bio that will go to 3 different organizations will be different. Don't send the same standard bio. Okay. 3, use plenty of keywords, not buzzwords. Keywords in your profile to get noticed faster. So when I go to a portfolio, let's say Facebook, if I go to search option, I will write good or best MCs in Bhopal, maybe, for an example. If best MC and Bhopal are there in your profile, it will take a hit. Your profile will be shown to me, right? So use plenty of keywords. Keywords will help with search engine optimization and with other software programs used to filter information. Okay. Now put the right quality and quantity of keywords in your profile so you can come up in search results. Number 4, use numbers. So when discussing your experiences, be sure to give people your value proposition, the return on investment of working with you. Why does a person hire artists? For entertainment, for people to remember their brand, for people to remember that they gave them such an experience, not to remember you. Okay, as artists, your role is to give the brand recollection of the person or the organization who's hiring you. In turn, you create the brand for yourself because ultimately you are doing the work. Your face value will be there, but for an organization to come back to you, there has to be return on investment. And as artists, your return on investment is how well their brand is recollected by the people who attended, right? And this quickly establishes credibility, right? Point number 5, round it out. Now, your bio should touch on a few of your activities, your interests, and soft skills to let people get to know you, right? One major part in this is providing proof, okay? Put links to your portfolio, your maybe your YouTube videos or presentations or PDFs or photos, right? Don't make it hard on people to find your material. And pro tip, humanize yourself. Add your personal interest and passions to build rapport with your target audience. These personal touches highlight the unique perspectives and the values that you bring. Maintain an aura of professionalism, but show that you are relatable and friendly. This, professionalism plus relatability plus friendliness is equal to memorable, right? So, for example, I am also an artist, Pink Floyd fan, and actively involved in women empowerment, something like that, right? So, this covers part of our life today. right? And we'll be doing second live wherein we are going to talk more about how will you tell your story now. So marketing your story and keeping your story fresh, right? And I guess I'm going to see you next fortnight, not the coming Saturday, but the Saturday next to that in the next session. If you are not part of our Yes, Manan, thank you. So, if you're not a part of our mycology group on Facebook, I request you to please do that so that all the notifications that go out on that group. And I'll see you guys in a fortnight's time. Take care. Bye. Have a lovely weekend.